What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are now just 8 days away from the first round of the 2021 NFL Draft. As excited as ever. As you guys know, we go first, all right? So we get that first pick, and it's an incredible feeling. What we do at 25, does it even really matter? Yes, it does. But after one, I feel like people are going to be a lot more accepting of what happens at 25, regardless of what position Urban and Trent Baalke decide to go. But lots of options at 25. Okay, so I went ahead on my Twitter and shared it onto at LSUUUVAL, LSUUUVAL. So give us a follow if you haven't already. So I went ahead and pushed out all my offensive guys on my wish list. And I did that quickly so that I could come and talk to you guys and share it with you. So I have 18 guys. I know it seems like a ton, but we have 10 picks. I have 18 guys. A lot of these guys are going to be options at either 25 or 33. I have 18 guys that I personally love in this draft. It's not all the players I'm interested in, but I just chose 18 guys that I really like for this draft class that I would love to have in Jacksonville. So what we're going to do first today is I'm going to share with you my 9 offensive crushes that I have in this draft, and then I'll come to you in a couple of days once I finish my list of 9 defensive guys and share that with you also. So let's get right into it. Number one, let's get it out of the way, Kyle Pitts, the tight end out of Florida. He's the best player in the draft. He is a receiver. He's a tight end. He can do a ton of different things. He is a matchup nightmare. We're not getting him. But he's number one on my list because he should be on number one of everybody's list other than quarterback. So I want Kyle Pitts and Duval. It's not going to happen, but he's number one on my list. Next on my list is Terrace Marshall Jr., the wide receiver out of LSU. Guys, Terrace Marshall is a touchdown machine. He had 23 touchdowns in the past 2 seasons. What's even more impressive is that he didn't play a full season this year. And in 2019, he had 13 touchdown receptions while sharing the field with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. He still was able to get 13 touchdowns. Joe Burrow loved throwing to Terrace Marshall. And he's an addition to any quarterback in the NFL, and I would love to have him in Jacksonville. We're going to stay at receiver with number 3, Kadarius Toney, the slot out of Florida. I feel like he can do a ton of different things also. He is electric. He is a playmaker. But he's another guy that I feel like we probably don't take because I feel like Urban would probably love him at 33, but I think he's going to be gone by then. I have a feeling that Kadarius might sneak into the later part of the first round, but if he's there at 33, definitely look for Urban to take a long, hard look. Number 4, a guy I think personally that Trent and Urban are fans of, Pat Freiermuth, the tight end out of Penn State. He is a great playmaker. He is a more traditional tight end than Kyle Pitts. He's going to be more involved in the blocking game, I think, than Kyle Pitts will be. But Pat Freiermuth, obviously the connection to Jacksonville is that our tight ends coach that was hired by Urban Meyer was his tight ends coach at Penn State. Obviously that connection's probably going to come into play if he's there at 33. I don't think he's there at 45. I think he might sneak into the later part of the first round. There are a lot of people like Jordan DeLugo at Gen Jag that like the idea of taking him at 25. I am with Jordan on that. It's going to get a lot of scrutiny, but I think why not just go ahead and get that guy and still be able to get a tremendous addition at 33. But I'm definitely more in favor, if we can, of getting Pat Freiermuth at 33. I think he solves a huge tight end issue that we've had for a long time. Number 5 is Michael Carter, the running back out of North Carolina. He kind of shared carries with Javonte Williams, but I think that Michael Carter, with what he brings in the passing game as well as in the run game, I think he is the perfect, as I mentioned on Twitter, he's the perfect lightning to James Robinson's Thunder. Jags fans, Thunder and Lightning sounds really good to us, but to have it in the backfield, I think Michael Carter would be a tremendous addition, and I want him bad in Jacksonville. Number 6 is another running back. This is a guy you would grab later in the draft. I'm thinking 4th, 5th round. I'm going to show my Louisiana colors here with some of these last few picks. But Elijah Mitchell is a heck of a running back. Elijah Mitchell is going to get drafted. He's going to make a team, and he's going to contribute in 2021, barring injury. I watched him a ton. I love watching UL Lafayette play. Coach Billy Napier does a tremendous job, and his staff. I think that Elijah Mitchell would be a huge get if the Jaguars waited till the late 4th round to grab a running back. He can do a lot of the stuff Michael Carter does. He may not be as explosive, but he's going to add kind of pass catching with a little bit of the thunder of bouncing off tackles like James Robinson gives you. And then going up front, David Moore, the guard out of Grambling State here in Northeast Louisiana. David Moore is 6'3". He's over 300 pounds. He's a mauler in the run game. He's going up draft boards, and I really think that David Moore is going to end up being a very good player for a long time. Now, and this is another guy that you would take in the 5th or 6th round. He's just a player that I really like. I think he's nasty in the run game, had a ton of success at Grambling, and I would really like to see him in Jacksonville, just adding depth, if nothing else, to the offensive line. Number 8 is another guy from Louisiana, Marquez Stevenson, the wide receiver out of Houston. Guys, go turn on the tape. He is an electric playmaker. He takes the top off of a defense. Some people call him the fastest player in college football. Marquez Stevenson can fly. He's from North Louisiana, went to Houston, has done nothing but produce in the return game and as a number 1 receiver. If you haven't watched the tape, I shared out his highlights a while back. Go find him on YouTube. Marquez Stevenson is a stud. And then finally, my last guy, number 9. So I'm not big on taking offensive line early in this draft, not with the holes we need. I am much bigger on taking D-line, linebacker, tight end, receiver after Trevor than I am offensive line. But if we decide to go offensive line at 25, Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State is on my list. I love what he brings to the table. I think he's a nasty tackle, and I think long-term could play on either side. If Juwan Taylor doesn't work out at right tackle, he slides in. If Cam doesn't work out at left tackle, he can slide in. You can bump Juwan to a guard. I think Tevin Jenkins would be a tremendous addition. So if you look back at my list of 9 guys, Kyle Pitts is really not going to happen. Obviously, every team in the NFL should want Kyle Pitts, but he just doesn't make a lot of sense for Jacksonville to give up what it would take to get him, because it would cost you 25. It would cost you the 1st round next year, and it would probably also cost you a 2nd rounder this year and a 2nd rounder next year to move up high enough to get him. Now, if he falls to the early teens, you go get him, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's gone by 6 to Miami. But guys like Terrace Marshall, Kadarius Toney, Pat Freiermuth, and Tevin Jenkins are all going to be there at 25 or should be there at the 25 range. You should be able to definitely grab one of those guys. Other guys that I really like Michael Carter, I think he is a guy that comes into play maybe at 45, but I think you might be able to get him at 65 depending on if there's a run on running backs. You might have to go up to get him. This is not a big-time draft for running backs. Elijah Mitchell, like I said, you'd be able to get him in the late 4th, early 5th. David Moore is a 5th or 6th round guy. Same thing with Marquez Stevenson, anywhere from the 4th to the 6th. Guys that you don't have to reach on. This is a deep draft, and I think that out of those 9 guys that I've listed, if the Jags got one of those, maybe 2, it would go a huge way in making Trevor Lawrence's rookie year much, much easier. So in a couple of days, be looking for me to finish up my top 9 wish list of defensive players for the Jags, and I'll be sending out that video soon to where you guys can check it out and tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about this offensive list. Are there any of these guys that you want also, or any guys that I didn't mention that you think would be a great fit? Hit me up on Twitter at LSUUUVAL or subscribe here at the channel. And guys, get after me. My last video, I had a lot of people calling me crazy for some of the options at 25. I love it. Come at me with agreements or disagreements. I love just talking football. And we can agree to disagree. We can talk about our Jaguars, and we can have a great time doing it. So I hope everybody's doing well. I appreciate you guys' support. We're giving away the 1997 Mark Brunell SI cover. Magazine. We are giving away that magazine this weekend. So you can continue to subscribe and follow us on Twitter to be entered to win. And that'll be given away this weekend. You guys take care. God bless. And as always, go Jags.